Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Tonight, we got a great show for you. We're going to be back to Buffalo Bill and his Wild West adventure, the best shot. Anyway, I hope you all like this story, and I wanted to continue because we're getting close to the end, and we want to know, at least I do, where Captain Boyd is going. Is Dove Eye going to get captured or she's rescued, but will she go get captured again? And while Buffalo Bill, who's been kind of absent on the scene, will he come to the rescue in the end? Which I'm sure he probably will. But anyway, let's find out where because they were being attacked, and then Cynthia had managed to stir up everything, and it is quite the thing. So we're going to continue with chapter 21. And Captain Boyd makes a friend of Red Plume. Yes. So Captain Boyd. Yeah, Captain Boyd has been in the stretch the whole way. But thank you all for coming tonight. And I surely do appreciate you taking your time. So kick back and relax. Grab yourself a cup of tea, hot chocolate, or whatever you want, some munchies, and join the crowd here as we listen to go back in the yesteryear, back when men were men and women were women, and the Indians ruled the plains. And it was scary and exciting all at the same time. So here we go. Chapter 21. Captain Boyd makes a friend of Red Plume. When Buffalo Bill saw the dark face of the warrior in the mouth of the cave, he believed him to be the only leader of the band, for he had no thought one would dare to face two armed men, and he raised his pistol to end his career. But with the speed of thought, Cynthia caught his arm. "Do not fire," she cried. "It's Red Plume, my friend and brother." "Let him shoot. Red Plume does not want to live any longer." And the young Indian, coming forward and throwing bow and spear on the ground, "He has followed Cynthia, the Sunflower, to see her with the people she has chosen as her friends, the people of her own color, to ask her if she is here of her own free choice. Cynthia is here because she wanted to come. She could not see the brave Dream Spear die at the torture post to Yellow Bear had sworn to bind him." Cynthia pointed to Boyd as she spoke. Red Plume looked also at the young paleface, and turning to Cynthia, asked in a low, earnest tone, "Has the Sunflower given her heart to this paleface?" From the calls, the Dream Spirit, "Yes, I love him," said Cynthia. "Then it is time for Red Plume to die," said the young warrior, and he drew his knife from his scabbard. "The Red Plume loves the Sunflower and must lose her. He, too, learned to make speaking papers, for the white captive told him how. The Red Plume has made the talking papers tell his love for Cynthia, for it was not her Dream Spirit. She does not love Red Plume and will die, and he will die." He raised his knife with an evident intention to plunge it into his breast. Boyd caught his arm and snatched away the weapon. "The mind of Red Plume will be easy when he sleeps." "At last, sleep," said the Indian suddenly. But Boyd drew him aside and whispered some words in the ear of the Indian, which seemed to have a strange effect upon him. He drew back, looked earnestly in the face of the young captain, and then he took both the captain's hands in his and said, "Pale-faced brother, we will be good friends. Red Plume will no longer grieve because Sunflower loves you." Buffalo Bill and Cynthia were astonished at this sudden change, and the scout rather doubted his honesty, but it was better than he expected. Will Red Plume now say he came alone or here with others of his tribe on the trail? Asked Buffalo Bill. Red Plume came alone. No eye but his found the trail of Cynthia and the palefaces. He would let none see where he went when he found it, for he lay down and crawled like snake. Now Red Plume will stay with Cynthia and her friends and help. He does not want to go back to Yellow Bear. The great chief is mad and will kill Red Plume if he sees him. Is Spotted Tail yet safe? Asked Buffalo Bill. He will be watched till the death song is sung. It will not be sung for him, said the scout. I have promised to save him, and I must. What is the Indian's life for you? Asked Boyd. As the pledge safeguarded of my word, everything I have an object. When I made him a promise and extracted one for him, Spotted Tail promised peace for his people and with ours, and I promised to see him back in safety to his people. How can we get away, let alone helping him? Asked Boyd. I don't know yet, but all will come right. I've been in some hard scrapes before, but I got through all safe in the end, said Buffalo Bill quietly. When night comes on, I shall make a scout down towards the camp. I may see some way to get the old chief out of the clutches of his enemy. Red Plume will go and help you, said the Indian. What? And leave the Sunflower here with the paleface? Asked Buffalo Bill, rather surprised at his volunteer service. Yes, Red Plume knows that Sunflower is safe. He is no longer a fool. He will not be jealous of the dream spirit, his white brother. Buffalo Bill smiled, and for he knew that Boyd had cunningly played upon the Indian's superstition, telling him a secret that he was Cynthia's dream spirit. This would make the Indian youth at once give up the girl to one the Great Spirit had sent. Then Cynthia said, Red Plume is wise. He shall be my good brother, as he has always been. We may as well think of something more necessary than dreams, said Buffalo Bill. The elk steaks are rather overdone now, and I am hungry. Chapter 22, The Little Scout's Blow. When Yellow Bear had sent away nearly all his warriors in the search for the fugitives, and Wanda had sunk suckly down into the rest of the couch of robes from which she had risen, the old chief called a medicine man to dress his broken arm. The medicine man was not skillful, and the wounded chief groaned. Spotted Tail heard his captor groan and saw the color leave the cheek of Yellow Bear. It seemed to give him delight. Ah, he said, Yellow Bear groans. Dog. Yellow Bear groans because the time goes so slow. He wants to get all his people together so that they may see what a coward squaw Yellow Bear has found, that they may hear Spotted Tail cry out when the red fire licks up his blood. The Blackfeet have not been born who will hear Spotted Tail complain. He is now in more pain than Yellow Bear, yet he does not whine like a sick child as Yellow Bear does. Wait, we will see, said Yellow Bear, who did not wince again. This done, he was about to return to his temporary lodge when he saw a band of mounted warriors come up sweeping over the plains in the direction of his camp. He saw at a glance that they were strange warriors, and he sprang upon his own war steed, which stood saddled close at hand, and dashed away. The next minute his band, headed by a fine-looking young warrior, drew rein where Spotted Tail and his fellow prisoners were seated. Where is Spotted Tail, the father of Dove-Eye, the red rose of the prairies? Asked the leader of the strangers. I am Spotted Tail, said the Sioux chief gloomingly. The stranger spoke to his followers, and one led up a horse, and a strange chief said, Clement, the tiger of the Comanches, told Dove-Eye I would set her father free. Dismounting, he cut the thongs which bound the chief, while two warriors lifted Spotted Tail upon the lead horse. Away, cried the Comanche, and before the astonished chief could ask a question or even set young Beaver free, the Comanche swept off. Spotted Tail saw, as they sped on, that what seemed to be bands of his own people engaged in battle, which scattered squaws of Blackfeet. But to his repeated questions, the Comanche was deaf. He would only say, Clement has said to White or Dove-Eye, she shall see her father. He will keep his word. Spotted Tail knew not whether to rejoice at this freedom or not. The Sioux and the Comanches had not been friends for many years, though their hunting grounds were so far apart they seldom met. If Clement held him as prisoner, he might live longer than he would have lived in the hands of Yellow Bear. But would he be permitted to go back to his tribe? The party came suddenly in sight of a single Comanche. This warrior, when he met Clement, spoke to him in his own tongue, which Spotted Tail did not understand. The eyes of Clement seemed to blaze with fury when he heard what this warrior said. He paused by the moment, and then, of course, the party was changed, and they rode forward more swiftly than ever. He sped. His looks and actions told Spotted Tail that he was after some enemy who was in that direction. He looked ferocious, like a tiger. That Indian flame proclaimed that he was. Thus hours passed, and Spotted Tail wondered at the endurance of the southern horses, which still carried them on. Ahead, they saw another band carrying lances like themselves. They had just come to halt, for beyond them still was timber, and in there appeared too many mounted Indians. Clement did not check his speed. He did not halt. But when he saw a large band of Indians coming at the charge, he turned to Spotted Tail and said, these are braves of your tribe charging down on more warriors of mine. I've saved the life of Spotted Tail. Let there be peace between our tribes. It shall be peace, cried Spotted Tail. He rode forward to check the charging braves. Whose heads the Sioux today? Asked Spotted Tail of the sub-chief who led the charge, as he lowered his spear, while Clement and his warriors with the spearheads reversed joined the chief of the Sioux. Nahoda, the wife of Spotted Tail, the mother of Dove-Eye, replied the sub-chief. Where is Dove-Eye? Eagerly asked Clement. Answer him. Where is Dove-Eye, my child? Said Spotted Tail. With her mother. She has just come in with a paleface brave, replied the sub-chief. Let us ride on. I would look upon Dove-Eye, said the Comanche. Yesterday she was my prisoner. Told her I would take her father from the hands of the enemy, and then I would make her my wife. Spotted Tail made no answer, but he rode on side by side with Clement, each followed by his own warriors, until they were in the edge of the timber where Nakota watched for her chief and husband. Where is Dove-Eye? Was the first question, as her husband approached his wife. Here, said the girl, who had drawn back out of observation, for she was not understand why the Comanches were coming in this friendly guest. She stepped forward and laid her hands upon the mane of the horse which her father rode. Who is the paleface that is with Dove-Eye? Continued the chief. The little brave, the friend of Long Rifle, who saved me from Yellow Bear, who waited to watch over you till I could call up palefaces, braves, to help you drive the Blackfeet from your hunting grounds. The little brave is welcome in the tribe of Spotted Tail. He is a great warrior, said Spotted Tail. Who killed the Comanches that followed Dove-Eye? Now, asked Clement, who had been spoken to by one of his braves. I killed 2, and the little brave killed 2, said Dove-Eye proudly. Clement seemed for an instant to struggle with anger. Conquering it, he said, as administration of her courage shone in his eye. Dove-Eye is fit to be the wife of a great warrior. Clement, now at peace with her people. Clement asked Spotted Tail to give him Dove-Eye for a wife. What has Dove-Eye to say? Asked the Sioux chief, looking anxiously on his child. Let him take a wife from among his own people, said the girl. Clement's eyes flashed as he said, Does Dove-Eye love the pale-faced dog who stole her from his fort? The Comanche had no time to listen to the answer of Dove-Eye. If she has one to make for Dave Estes, quick anger and quick to act struck him a stunning blow in the face, and he, as he fell stunned to the earth, cried out, No red cuss shall call me a dog and not feel my bite. Comanche started at the body with leveled spears, avenged the insult to their chief, while Spotted Tail shouted, No brave shall raise his hand, or it is war between the tribes. Spotted Tail is right. The tribes have nothing to do with this quarrel, said Clement himself, rising from the ground. But he added, turning fiercely on the young scout, There is war between us. One of us must die. I'm agreed on that. No one who dies will not be me, said the scout coolly. Let Spotted Tail say how we shall fight, said the Comanche. You would fight as warriors fight, and before all the braves? Asked Spotted Tail. Yes, and before Dove-Eye, said Clement eagerly. Let 2 horses be brought, said Spotted Tail. Then it will Clement and the tiger and the little brave lay away all weapons but one, the knife, which each one wears in his belt. Let them ride apart the distance an arrow can fly, and then come together as they will. Spotted Tail has spoken. Clement, whose stern face told his anger, bade one of the warriors to see his horse, and then he turned straight the time to set by Spotted Tail for the duel. Chapter 23, General Custer. A body of cavalry rode in column over the beautiful Vivaldian hills which spread about the headwaters of the Little Bighorn River. The main body, a full regiment, rode in a column with a small advance and a rear guard, and a flanking body of men not in uniform, but evidently composed of that class of daring frontiersmen who rejoice to serve the army of scouts. With the advance accompanied by a couple of staff officers, rode a man with long fair hair, whose shoulders straps, star-bearing, proclaimed his rank to be that of the general. It is time California Joe was back, said the general to the scout near him. He said when we made our noon halt that he would ride ahead, look for an old campground, and then he knew, and rejoined us by the middle of the afternoon. California Joe generally keeps his word, General Custer, said the scout. But here comes California Joe, sir, on a lope. Yes, he rides fast, instead of waiting for us, said the general. He has seen reds. I'll bet high on that, said one of the officers. Column forward. Trot, cried General Custer, and he at once went forward at a more rapid gait. He soon met California Joe, a middle-aged scout, almost too well known in the army to need a description. Joe was mounted on a genuine Mustang, about as red as his own whiskers and as rough as his own hair, and the broad rim of his old slouch hat blew back from over his honest face. "What's your hurry, Joe?" asked General Custer as he reined in his horse. "General," said he, "we're going to have just the nicest chance to wipe out that double handful of red varmints that ever you did see. Oh, it's beautiful. I had a good peep at the camp, all in the camp, and they never sought an eye on me." "Indians? How many? Where?" asked the general impatiently. "Sioux, about 100 braves mounted and ready for the warpath in the timber over there to the northwest." "Mounted, you say? And they are gonna before now?" "No, sir, not mounted, but they stuck to mount." "You sure they didn't see you?" "I am, or some of them. Well, would have been after me like wolves after a lame buffalo." "Then ride forward, little buckshot, and see what they're doing, while I follow with the column." "Yes, General." "Captain, will you just let me feel the weight of your flank 1 minute before I go?" Joe felt the weight of the flank. It was lighter than he had handed it back. General Custer now gave orders to his staff to pass word back for action and allowed the column to close up in compact order. When near the piece of timber which Joe had pointed out, the general halted the command, let the men dismount to breathe their horses, and waited for the report of the scout. He had not long to wait. California Joe came riding back even faster than he went. Little Buckshot stated that there were near 200, then 100 Indians, and there were Comanche as well as Sioux, and that there were women among them. California Joe told the same story, and both scouts joined in the belief that it was a war party, though it seemed singular that they should unite when the Sioux and Comanches had been long known to be on bad terms. "They're all huddled on the farther edge of that narrow strip of timber," said California Joe. "They got some kind of talk going on, and we can take a bit of a circuit right to the right, throw ourselves directly in front." "That's precisely the plan I shall adopt," cried the young general. The orders were given, and the scouts, all with him as his own bodyguard, the gallant leader rode on. After a gallop of a mile, General Custer drew rein, where a strange sight met his eyes. Chapter 24: A Duel on Horseback. The preparations for the duel between Clement, the Comanche tiger, and Dave Estes were commenced. It was the sight of this duel at this commencement which made General Custer draw rein and halt his column on the march. The sun was a little over an hour high when Spotted Tail told the two intended combatants to get ready. "Take care of these, gal, and I should go under in this fight. Keep them for my sake." That was what Dave said, and he took off his fringed hunting shirt, his bullet pouch and a powder horn, and his belt, with his pistols and knife scabbard. He gave her his rifle also to hold, and if he fell to keep, the knife which he was about to use, a long straight-bladed hunting knife, required no scabbard now. But with careful forethought, the little scout took a slender thong of buckskin and attached it to the buckhorn handle of the knife, fastened it the same to his wrist. Naked to his waist, the knotted muscles of his white arms showing a tremendous strength for one so slight, his broad shoulders, his full chest free from encumbrance, and his buckskin trousers tight about his slender waist and loose about his strong limbs. Young hero was ready to do battle with his brawny, gigantic antagonist. The moment he had taken off his arms and hunting shirt, Dave gave a shrill cry, which brought his trained horse, Black Hawk, up to him on a trot. "Oh boy, we got some lively work before us," said Dave, patting his horse on the neck. "I may as well lighten you all I can." He then took off the saddle and the blanket in the girth which had bound the saddle to its horse and replaced it loosely on the horse. He took off the bridle entirely, for this his horse, like Powderface, knew the pressure of his rider's legs when there and where that wished to turn, and by his voice when go or stop. "Is the pale-face ready?" said Clement sternly. He sat in the savage pride of his horse, which was saddled and bridled as usual. Turning to Dove-Eye, Dave took her hand and said, "Gal, if I don't get another chance to say it, well, good. I love you, and I'm going to fight like lightning to get you from that snake out of your way." "Fight and kill him," said Dove-Eye. "If he kills you, I'll kill him." "That's the grit," said Dave, as he sprang on his horse. The Sioux chief pointed to two spears and red fire on them, set them in the ground about 200 yards in front of the spot where the Indians had congregated, and nearly the same distance apart. "The little brave will take the one nearest to the Comanche chief, the other." When Spotted Tail was at his lance, "Begin the fight." "I'm ready, but Clement is not," said Dave. "Wears upon his breast a shield, mine is bare." "It is the sign of my rank," said the Comanche, as laid his hand upon his shield bearing an emblem of the sun. "Bare your breast, coward, as I have done," cried the little scout. With a look of gloomy hatred, the Comanche lifted the symbol from his breast. "Now," he cried, as he waved his long, glittering knife. Dave bounded to the back of his horse and rode with the spear which was set farthest east. He had just reached it when he saw, to his surprise, mounted troops close at hand, but he had not a moment of time to inspect them. The Sioux chief, who did not know the troops, had gave the signal. When a yell, the Comanche dashed forward on off the line for Dave, while the latter, with his horse at hand, rode on to meet the charge of the other, and Dave rode erect and easy. It seemed as if the Comanche, prone on his horse, and one hand clutching the mane, the other stretched forward with the knife pointing, would have a great advantage. But when the horses were almost abreast, the black steed of the scout, touched in the flank by his rider's heels, bounded fully in a yard to the one side, and then Dave, clinging one hand to the girth on his back, read far over and cut a deep groove in the back of the Comanche, who supposed himself out of reach. Wildly yelling, the Indian drew rein and turned his horse in swift pursuit of Dave, but quicker than thought, the black horse, impelled by a touch, reared full before the flying steed of the Comanche, which fell back on his haunches, and both horses sat with their forefeet in the air, furiously kicking and biting at each other, while the knives of the riders played like vivid lightning in alternate thrust and battery. This lasted a scarce minute, yet to all who gazed it seemed much longer. Then all at once a knife was seen flying high in the air and fall yards away from the combatants. Dove-Eye trembled now for the first time. One of the combatants was disarmed. If it was the little brave, his doom was sealed. Dave was seen to touch his horse, which wheeled it away from the front to the other, and take a short circle, waving his own knife high over his head. Bending as he rode, he picked up the knife which he had struck from the hand of the Comanche, checked his horse in the impetuous fight before Clement, who, bleeding from several wounds, as did his opponent bleed, also stood with folded arms beside the horse, which he had more use for, waiting for the death blow. Dave looked at him as he stood there, yet fearless, though he was at his mercy, he could not slay him. Tossing his knife forward, the mortified chief, he cried, "Take better care of your tools, tiger of the Comanches. Mount and try your luck again. Clement is not a dog to accept life from a paleface." Mounted and maddened chief, for he heard the verseride rough of dovetail. "He has made his life a shame and will throw it away." He snatched a knife from the ground as he said this and drove it into the heart of his trembling horse. The animal, with a quivering, fell to the ground, and then, as quickly, the haunting chief buried the keen, relicking weapon in his own breast. He fell upon his horse, and the duel was over. Spotted Tail and Dove Eye rushed forward to greet the little brave. Then the Sioux chief saw the cavalry form on the plain, as he thought, ready to charge. "Ho! The pale-faced warriors from the big fort are upon us," he cried, and he would have turned to either lead his band on battle or fly if there was a chance, but the little scout cried out, "They are my friends, and there shall be no fight. I shall ride to meet their chief. The little brave is right. There shall be peace, because I promised Long Rifle it should be so," said Spotted Tail. But he must go to the palefaces quickly, or they will come to us. I will ride at once, as I am, but do not let one of your people move, lest the soldiers think they mean to fight and charge upon them," cried Dave. And while Spotted Tail held up his hand to warn the Comanches to keep back, for they were about to ride forward to take up the body of their chief, Dave darted away to meet those whom he was once recognized, General Custard and his officers. Well, there you go, everybody. Next chapter, the Comanches' threat. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. That was a little bit long, but it was mighty good. So, well, with that, we'll wrap this up. Boy, it's gotten exciting. A knife fight, and the Comanche chief Clement kills his horse and himself in the end. Wow. Talk about bravery and suicide all together in one, wrapped up. Boy, oh boy. Well, anyway, I hope you're all doing good and liking the story. Please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment if you want. And, share it with somebody. Come back and watch it again later when all these are put together. And I'll have them in a folder so that you can watch them all. And then that way you can listen to the whole story at once. It might take you a little while, but it'll be great. So we'll wrap this up tonight. And thank you for coming again. I appreciate it, all of you, every one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, go out and do something nice for people. Remember, everybody likes to be acknowledged. I think, in some way, shape, or form, if it's waving, a smile from your face, even if you say, "Have a great day," something. You don't even have to leave your car. Just when you're going down the road, wave your hand. And that might be enough to make somebody's day. So with that, remember, go out, be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. I love you all. Thanks for coming.